son, Ratan Tata's 67-year-old half-brother, will head the Tata Trust, which together owns 65.3% of Tata Sons. Nifty Sensex closed lower for the second week. Sectoral indices end higher at close. Nifty Pharma rises the most and Nifty Realty is the top loser. Adani Enterprises 4,200 crore rupee QIP gets subscribed 4 times. Key participants include GQG Partners, Quant Mutual Fund and SBI Life Insurance. Rupee falls below 84 to a dollar level for the first time, pressured by concerns over the recent jump in oil prices due to rising West Asia conflict, as well as the exodus of foreign money from equity market. Terrorism is also a serious challenge to global peace and security, says Prime Minister Modi as he urges cooperation to combat the menace at the 19th East Asian Summit in Laos. Conflict in West Asia escalates. Israeli airstrikes hit a densely populated area in Beirut, killing 22 civilians. NDTV Prophet brings you a ground report. Well, good evening and welcome. You are watching NDTV Profit and this is Profit 360. I'm your host, Nupur Talwar Suri. Well, the biggest news that's coming in today, of course, is from the Tata Group, where Noel Tata has been appointed the chairman of Tata Trust, which consists of the Sir Dorabji Tata Trust and the Sir Ratan Tata Trust. Now, the board arrived at a unanimous decision after a meeting earlier today, and Pallavi Nahata is reporting on this and joins us with the details.
We're here outside the World Trade Center, where a short while back Noel Tata was appointed as Ratan Tata's successor. The Tata Trust board meet was underway, and the reason this is critical is because the ownership of Tata Sons is largely held by 2 key trusts, that is the Sir Ratan Tata Trust and the Sir Dorabji Tata Trust, which together comprise over half of the ownership of Tata Sons. Noel Tata was being seen as a front runner for the position, and he was already in both the Sir Ratan Tata Trust as well as in the Sir Dorabji Tata Trust. Today as well, we did not manage to get a bite from him. He continues to remain media shy, but of the little we do know about him is the various positions he has held in the Tata group of companies so far. He currently chairs several companies within the Tata portfolio. These include Trent, Tata International, Voltas. He's also vice chairman of Tata Steel and Titan, and has been instrumental in the conglomerate's growth since the early 2000s. His leadership experience did, of course, put him in a good place for becoming a successor in the Tata leadership hierarchy, a step towards which we saw today.
All right, Pallavi, thank you very much for that. Now, with the Tata Group poised for change, Noel Tata is stepping into the spotlight. Who is he and what could his leadership mean for the future of this global giant? Let's take a closer look.
Aged 67, Noel began his career in the early 2000s and took on the role of chairman and managing director of Tata International in 2011, driving the group's global expansion. Under his leadership, Tata Trend's Zudio brand has made waves with affordable fashion. Beyond business, Noel's influence is anchored in his role as a trustee of Tata Trust, which hold over 65% of Tata Sons, the group's holding company. His leadership has recently extended to key positions at Titan and Tata Steel, further reinforcing his significance in driving the group's international strategy and future growth. With his deep ties to the Tata legacy and an expanding global portfolio, Noel is emerging as a pivotal figure in the conglomerate's next chapter.
Well, but what does this mean for the future of Tata Trust? I'm now joined by Sajid, who will be breaking down what this change in leadership essentially means for the Tata Trust. Hi, Sajid. Sajid, so this is the biggest news that's coming in this evening. Take us through how this could change Tata Trust, because there's a new man at the helm now, and he will bring with him changes, perhaps.
True, there is a new person at Tata Trust who will be heading the entire philanthropy initiative of the Tata Group. But to put it in simple, the legacy which has been which was left by Mr. Ratan Tata, it's going to be a continuity to that, because Noel already was part of some of the trust as a trustee, whether it was a Sir Ratan Tata Trust or the Sir Dorabji Tata Trust. He was part of it. He was inducted into it as part of the transition which was there, and with this move where he has been made the chairman of the Tata Trust, he now moves into the executive committee of the Tata Trust, which takes care of the day-to-day operations of the Tata Trust activities. I mean, remember, Tata, while there are two major trusts which are there are allied trusts associated with these trusts, and in total there are around 14 trusts which are managed by the Tata Trust as an umbrella, and it requires a lot of coordination between all the trusts and trustees, so that there is a concentrated contribution towards various initiatives, whether it is in healthcare, whether it's in rural upliftment or education or sanitation. The trust ensures that the money is pooled and put to use in a very affordable, in a very effective manner, so that it gets a desired result, and at the same time it's a purpose of giving back to the society, which is the philosophy of the Tata Group. So there is not going to be any major thing with respect to a corporate side of it, but on a philanthropy side of it, we will see some measures where Noel will bring in his expertise, his vision of how to take the Tata legacy and the philanthropy going forward.
Oh yes, absolutely, Sajid. Thank you very much for joining us and breaking that down for us. Now, going ahead, of course, Noel Tata will head Tata Trust, which owns about 65.3% shares in Tata Sons. In fact, Agam is joining in to tell us what the Tata Trust ownership pattern looks like.
So we now know that Noel Tata has been appointed as a chairman on the board of Tata Trusts, but it is perhaps important to understand the ownership of Tata Trusts in Tata Sons. So at the moment, Tata Trusts on an accumulative basis own around 65.3% stake in Tata Sons, and even in this stake there are two key trusts which hold as much as 50%. Now among these two key trusts, we have Sir Ratan Tata Trust as well as Sir Dorabji Tata Trust, and we have 5 board members which are common in both these trusts, namely Vijay Singh, Venu Srinivasan, Noel Tata, Mistry, as well as Darius Kambata. Now, moving in, perhaps it's also important to see and take a look at the Tata family tree. So we do know that Noel Tata is Ratan Tata's half-brother, and Noel Tata also has 3 children who are also actively involved in Tata Group companies. Noel Tata himself is currently the chairman of Trent, Tata International Limited, Voltas, as well as Tata Investment Corp, and he's also the vice chairman for Tata Steel as well as Titan Company. Moving on, as far as children are concerned, we have Leah Tata. She is currently the vice president at the Indian Hotels. We have Maya Tata, and she's associated with Tata Capital, as well as Neville Tata, and he's associated with Trent as well, and he overlooks the leadership team at Star Bazaar. That said, it's certainly going to give you an idea about what's in store with respect to leadership going forward, but that's the latest update with respect to the Tata Group.
All right, Agam, thank you for that. Now, as the Tata Group enters a new era, Mistry emerges as a significant player. But who is he, and what connections does he hold within this influential family? Here's a report.
Mistry is the director at Meherji Palonji Group, which has a diverse portfolio in specialty coatings, logistics, finance and more. He is also the first cousin of late Cyrus Mistry, former chairman of Tata Sons. Mistry was a long-time friend of Ratan Tata. In October 2022, Mehli was appointed to the boards of 2 major Tata Trusts, Sir Dorabji Tata Trust and Sir Ratan Tata Trust, which together control over 60% of Tata Sons. He also joined the Tata Education and Development Trust and has been a trustee at Tata Medical Center since 2014. Known for his unwavering support to Ratan Tata during the tumultuous events following Cyrus's ousting in 2016, Mehli's loyalty has placed him at the heart of the Tata legacy.
Well, now moving on to what the markets look like today. Well, the Nifty and the Sensex closed lower for a second week, with sectoral indices mostly ending higher at close. However, Nifty Pharma rose the most and Nifty Realty was the top loser. Neeraj is joining in with a wrap of all the action.
Well, interesting session for the markets in that we've now gotten used to the index consolidating in a 500-point range, and today made no effort to break out either direction. So no drop downs, majors, no very large attempts at a high as well. And Bank Nifty was the culprit. It certainly came off in the session today. IT was a mixed bag because while TCS didn't do well, there were stocks like HCL Tech, Tech Mahindra and Infosys, which had a pretty serious session too. So in some sense, there it was balanced out. But banks certainly sulked in the session today. HDFC Bank, ICICI, Axis, all of them were down. Metals had a good move because there's an expectation that China will give a stimulus sometime at a point of time this weekend, and therefore there's an expectation that metals might do well on Monday. So it's a bit of a trade, hope trade if you will. Let's wait and watch if it materializes. So that's as far as the large caps go. As far as the broader end of the spectrum goes, you had some very serious moves that came into bottom-up stock names led by news flow. So Sudarshan Chemical, an acquisition, large one, up 14%. There was strength in Just Dial after the numbers, up about 4%. Bombay Stock Exchange with NSE now being told to have only one major index as a derivative expiry, and they've chosen the Nifty 50, and therefore BSE took gains to it and ended about 8% higher. And then there were a clutch of other names, of course, which had decent moves. There was TRIL, Wokhard, both of which were up 5%, Exide, which was up about 3.5%. So a clutch of those stocks had some decent moves as well. On the flip side, not too many. I mean, there were maybe a stock or two which might have come off a little bit. Adani Enterprises may be a bit of a disappointment because the QIP was very well subscribed, but the stock didn't do too much. But all in all, not a bad day of trade, more of what we've seen in the last few days, with no serious attempt to break out on either side.
All right, Neeraj, thank you very much for that. Now, earlier today, we spoke to Gautam Dugar from Motilal Oswal, who told us about his top sectoral picks.
Increased weight in ICICI, HDFC Bank. We've also introduced Kotak Bank in our model portfolio. We've added HDFC Life. We've added some of the niche alpha plays in NBFC like Five Star Business. We've increased weightage on Angel. So overall financials have gone to a chunky overweight for us, right? And all three segments of financials are overweight: private bank, PSU bank, diversified financials, NBFC. So that is one thing we've done. IT is already a big overweight. So both top down and bottom up, you can say, or rather you can conclude that our portfolio today is slightly more defensive than what it has been.
Now, TCS kicked off the IT earnings season yesterday with revenue falling in line while profit and margin failed to meet estimates. Now, Sandeep Agarwal, fund manager and co-founder, PF Sowillo Investments, spoke to us about the earnings, and he told us that the worst is over.
Fundamentally, these numbers also suggest that the worst is behind and things will improve from here. Number one. Number two, if you see, I'm more positively surprised with the recovery in the BFSI, and it also clearly suggests what we saw in Accenture numbers, that consultancy is down, and that is what is reflecting in North American decline, at the same time BFSI uptick. So it is, in my view, positive from the growth perspective. It seems that worst is behind and things will pick up. But at the same time, I would also say that all these stocks have run up quite a bit in last 6-8 months, and as I've said many times earlier, that this is a sector where you can make 15% annually in the large names and 15-20% in the mid and small names, depending on where you are.
The Indian rupee breached the crucial mark of 84 against the dollar and hit an all-time low of 84.09. This was despite the dollar sales by the Reserve Bank of India. Subhana Sheikh of NDTV Profit has more details on what happened.
Yes, so the Indian rupee has hit an all-time low of 84.09 and was also ended at 83.98 against the dollar. It breached the psychological crucial mark of 84 against the dollar. Now, this was despite, this was despite the dollar sales by the Reserve Bank of India, and it's also because foreign banks were persistently buying, the Indian rupee because of outflows in the domestic equities. Now, the outflows from domestic equities were due to the risk of sentiment that was, taking place among the traders due to rising tensions in West Asia. Now, the head of UN peacemaking informed the Security Council that the safety and security of peacemakers in Lebanon is growingly at risk. Now, this was followed by Israeli forces were actually firing, on United Nations interim force in Lebanon. Now, also the strength in the US dollar also weighed on the Indian currency. The data had recently showed that US CPI actually rose to 0.2% in September against expectations of 0.1% rise. So that is what, these are the reasons as to why the rupee has hit an all-time low today.
All right, Subhana, thank you very much for those details. Well, Adani Enterprises Limited share sale worth $500 million to institutional investors garnered over 4 times demand from marquee investors, including GQG Partners. And Anushi joins in with more details of what happened with the QIP.
Adani Enterprises 4,200 crore QIP has now received about 4 times the subscription, and we're seeing some interesting names coming as marquee investors. Key participants include GQG Partners as per the sources. Even other key participants, if we are looking at Quant Mutual Fund, SBI Life Insurance, SBI General Insurance, Vito Capital Mutual Fund and more are involved in this QIP that we are looking at. Now, just on the QIP details, just to reiterate some of these facts that were known earlier, the company launched a 4,200 crore QIP at the floor price of rupees 3,170.47 per share, and the company seeks to raise about 4,200 crore as spoken earlier. The floor price, if we are seeing at, is at a discount of 6.08% from the share's closing price on the launch day, and may not offer discount of more than 5% on the floor price. If you look at the book running lead managers, SBI Capital Markets, Jefferies India's and ICICI Securities Limited were the book running lead managers of this issue. So that is why we are seeing Adani Enterprises in focus today.
Right, Anushi, thank you for that. Now, as the festive season kicked off, Flipkart and Amazon were the first ones to launch their sales. But how did that fare? Is e-commerce poised to see great sales numbers this festive season? Rishabh brings in details.
We have some data trickling in from a body called Datum Intelligence. They have released data for the first week of this festive period. And what we're seeing is that the projected sales for this entire month or so, which is supposed to be at around 1 lakh crore rupees, 55% of that has already been fulfilled in this first week. And that is about 54,500 crore worth of products have been sold on e-commerce platforms such as Amazon and Flipkart, followed by quick commerce platforms like Blinkit and Zepto. What we're seeing is that this is a growth of about 26% as compared to the first week of last year. And what we're seeing is that mobiles, electronics, home and general merchandise is what is making up 75% of these sales. So clearly the first week being very, very important, as a lot of households sort of postpone their decisions to buy. And then as soon as these discounts and offers hit by these e-commerce platforms, we see a lot of this pent-up demand getting realized. So what we're seeing is that a lot of the smartphone demand is coming from tier 2 and tier 3 cities, almost 70% of all smartphone orders coming from those areas. We're also seeing that smart television, air fryers, luggage, ACs, water heaters are the top selling items apart from ghee and dry fruits, given the festivities around this period for the Hindu calendar as well. We're seeing that toys, books, as well as kitchen essentials are also seeing a about 2 to 5x jump. And apart from that, fashion, grocery, and beauty and personal care merchandise is also seeing a 2 to 4x jump. What is now in focus is quick commerce. We will see grocery pick up further as we move towards Diwali. We'll see a lot of parties coming in by a lot of people, a lot of get-togethers coming in. So quick commerce will be the next leg of growth. It is expected to contribute about 8% to this entire pie of e-commerce sales, about $1 billion worth products being expected to sold in the festive period. So stay tuned for that.
All right, Rishabh, thank you very much for that. Now, a few days ago, NDTV Profit had reported from Haridwar, where the CDS CEO had conducted checks on pharma companies that were manufacturing substandard drugs. NDTV's Rahul Kumar gets us the details of an NDTV impact that we're now seeing.
1 अक्टूबर को दिखाई गई एनडीटीवी की खबर का व्यापक असर हुआ है। हरिद्वार प्रशासन सजग हो गया है, दवा निर्माता कंपनियों की पर लगातार कार्रवाई कर रहा है और जहां-जहां गुणवत्ता के मानकों को पूरा नहीं किया जा रहा है, वहां पर उनको बड़ी चेतावनी दी जा रही है। यहां तक कहा जा रहा है कि गुणवत्ता मानकों में कमी पाई गई तो उनके लाइसेंस को निरस्त कर दिया जाएगा।
Well, in fact, we are now getting the first comment from Noel Tata, who has been appointed as the chairperson of the Tata Trust. He says, and I quote, "I'm deeply honored and humbled by the responsibility that has been cast on me by my fellow trustees. I look forward to carrying on the legacy of Mr. Ratan Tata and the founders of the Tata Group. Founded more than a century ago, the Tata Trusts are a huge vehicle for undertaking social good. On this solemn occasion, we rededicate ourselves to carrying on our developmental and philanthropic initiatives and continuing to play our part in nation building," unquote. This is the first reaction that we are now getting from Noel Tata, the chairman of Tata Trust. A short while ago, he was unanimously appointed to head the Tata Trust, which together control about 65.3% of the Tata Group. Well, the Navi Mumbai airport witnessed a historic moment as it celebrated its first landing on the new airport with the Indian Air Force's C-295. Minutes later, a Sukhoi Su-30 performed a low fly past, prompting a round of applause from the gathering crowd. The Navi Mumbai airport will serve as a second airport to the MMR region and is expected to kick off domestic operations by March 2025. Vikas from NDTV Profit has this report.
The Navi Mumbai International Airport, which is coming up in Panvel region of Mumbai, has seen a successful testing of its first runway with the landing of a transport aircraft today. The airport is expected to come up or start its operations from March 2025, and in the beginning, which is considered to be the first and second phase, it will have a passenger capacity of 20 million. This will increase to 90 million by 2032. In the third, fourth and fifth phase, the airport is expected to add 30 million in the third phase, and fourth and fifth phase will see addition of 20 million passengers each. This airport will be connected through multimodal transport system, which will include metro, ferry services, rail and road. This will also be connected to the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus Airport, International Airport in Mumbai region as well. The airport, the Chief Minister today said they are planning to start the airport even before 2025 March. So let's wait and watch till then, and we are expecting that the airport will see its commissioning much before March 2025.
Well, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a two-day official visit to Laos. He is attending the annual ASEAN-India Summit as well as the East Asia Summit. Now, the Prime Minister is expected to hold several bilateral meetings with heads of state from ASEAN member countries. This visit is a key moment for India as it will further strengthen India's cooperation with allies. The Prime Minister has prioritized East and Southeast Asia. Well, the conflict in West Asia is escalating as Israeli airstrikes hit a densely populated area in Beirut. According to Lebanese authorities, the strike resulted in the death of 22 civilians and injured dozens. Meanwhile, in Gaza, a strike killed at least 28 people at a school. In fact, NDTV's Ghazali has sent us this report from Beirut.
See, we are right now here in the Freedom Square. On my right, my camera person will show you is the famous Rafiq Hariri Mosque. It's an iconic mosque. And on my left is the Freedom Square, Martyrs Square. But if you see in the frame, you can see all these refugees who have come from different parts of Lebanon, who have been displaced due to this conflict. And this entire square here, a very iconic location. Behind me is the Mediterranean. You can't see it from here. But this entire area has now turned into a makeshift refugee camp. And why this is happening? Because Israel continues with its aerial strike, not only in southern suburbs or the southern Lebanon area, but aerial strikes happened very close to this particular city center area last night, killing more than 20 people and injuring hundreds of them.
Well, that's all we have time for right now on Profit 360. But before we go, we'd like to wish all our viewers a happy Dussehra from everybody here at NDTV Profit and the Profit 360 team.
If you'd had a conversation